Heart of the Matter wouldn't be possible without the support of our sponsors, Coast News Group, Godania Organic Eatery, Repegs, and John Milkowski Tax Law. Together, let's get to the heart of the matter. Welcome to the Heart of the Matter podcast. I'm Junon. First of all, I want to thank our sponsors, Repegs, John Milkowski Tax Law, and Los Cuernos Wine. We have here a guest host today,
Dr. Lisa Lewis.
And our guest, really excited. We've had conversations before. Sean.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Welcome. Yeah, first of all, let me make sure I take care of this because Los Cuernos is our sponsor. We always give a guest.
Oh!
Amazing canned wine.
Not bad. And rosé with bubbles.
There it is.
You just made my wife insanely
there
happy.
There it is.
If I get one of the cans in here, I'll be lucky. This is fantastic.
Yeah,
Thank
there's
you.
4 different types in there too, so you'll enjoy it. So.
All right, well, we'll go around the horn here.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Well, welcome to the podcast. Appreciate you being here. Had a great conversation. Obviously, I learned a lot about you, but I guess what's your history? How long you been in San Diego?
So, gosh, I've been in San Diego for 23 years now. I got to move out here for a job. And whenever you get a job, recruit, and it says, hey, we need you to move to Encinitas, California. That's a pretty good opportunity to take. So I was fresh out of college, and I just wrapped up a career in snowboarding. I had a great time throughout my 20s, snowboarding for a living, and I got recruited by Burton Snowboards. And they said, we need you to move to Encinitas, California. You're going to be the team manager for Burton Snowboards. Wow. And a lot of their pro snowboarders, do their summers and off seasons in Southern California. So Dave Downing, Shannon Downing were down here. And I was specifically working with a young kid named Sean White, who went on to obviously have a whole lot of fame, and he was living in Carlsbad. And Burton had a Southern California office, even though they're based in Vermont. I said, well, let's pack up the bags out of Utah where I was living and head on down. And I just dropped anchor. I've been here ever since.
Not a bad place to be.
No.
Not bad.
So yeah, San Diego for me became home, not only because the action sports industry was here, but I've got such a passion for doing outdoor activities, and there's so much you can do here, whether it's surfing, obviously.
Right. All
your triathlon, there's a reason it's the triathlon capital of the world. There's great mountain biking here. There's good action for if you like fishing, if you like doing just anything really outdoors. It seemed like within a couple hour drive, you were in just a great spot to do it. So it ticked the lifestyle box, and then of course professionally I was learning a ton by being in this great growth time in the surf, skate, snow industry. So couldn't find a better home to be.
It's a great place to be active. I always tell people you can go to the desert, because I'm from the desert, moved here 18 years ago, and to be able to still be able to go to the desert, go to the mountain, hit the water, you have to be active.
Not bad. And then I had a couple friends from high school. I'm originally from Massachusetts, and they were in Encinitas or in North County just floating around the area. So I kind of moved in with a friend group, which always helps. You're not going in as a total stranger. I had some friends from snowboarding who are here as well. So there's kind of this built-in social layering, which really helped out. So.
Right. Well, being a professional snowboarder too, it helps to be out here. All your friends are active surfers. And
Yep. Literally the folks that were like-minded that I wanted to spend time with were like, oh, we're surfing now. And I didn't know how to surf. So it was the next challenge. Right. I was like, well, I'm not snowboarding anymore. I'm snowboarding recreationally. So what's the next challenge? Oh, I'll learn how to surf. And that was an insanely humbling experience. But, you start getting some reps in, you start figuring it out, and then you get buzzed up on it, and it becomes something really passionate to do. Mountain biking, we always mountain biked in Utah.
Okay.
So bringing that out here was just different. It's different types of terrain, but likewise super enjoyable. And then just different challenges that are out there, and that's what life's all about, is trying new stuff and figuring it out.
Well, and we talked about it before, but you always talk about challenges and overcoming challenges. So that's something you have to really challenge yourself to push yourself, and it sounds like that's what you did. So after snowboarding, what was kind of the next challenge?
Well, professionally, number one, I think in anyone who considers themselves an athlete at the highest level to a lower down level. I was never a pro snowboarder with, across every cover of every magazine and video part. I was kind of what I always joke as a BB plus snowboarder. And it was great because I got to travel the world. I got to, get paid. It paid for college. It helped buy my first house, but I wasn't traveling, at a crazy level. but it was an amazing opportunity. And you kind of identify yourself with that, and it becomes who you are. Like, oh, I'm a pro snowboarder. At some point, you realize you're towards the end of that career. And I was really aware of that before my career was probably at its peak. And I said, well, I need to know what's next. And I had great friends around me that I went to high school with, that I'd grown up with, that had all gone to college, started their careers. And we were from New England. So you kind of like, you go to college, you get married, you start your career. There was very much kind of set rules of engagement in life, and I was not following those. I mean, I was the college dropout who was trying to be a professional snowboarder. And my best buddy that I was doing this with, this guy Glenn Doherty, we both chased the same dream. He wanted to be a pro skier. And we were both talking around, we were 24, turning 25. And we're like, this is awesome. But someday we can't do this. What's it gonna be next? And Glenn raised his hand. It's like, well, I know what my next challenge is. I don't wanna go back to school. I'm gonna join the Navy and I'm gonna become a Navy SEAL. And I was like, wait, what?
Wow.
And this is in the 90s. So this is, like mid 90s. So our reference point was a VHS movie called Navy SEAL starring Charlie Sheen.
Right. Oh, one of my favorites.
It was wild.
Yeah.
So he literally takes off and joins the Navy, goes to basic training, and a year later, I'm going to his BUBS graduation.
Wow.
Well, in that same conversation, I had looked around and said, yeah, I don't want to be the 30-year-old, 40-year-old ski bum. Like, I don't, that's not an aspiration for me. I think I'm going to take my snowboard money and go back to college. And I'm going to get my degree. I want a degree in political science. I'm going to go join the State Department. I'll be able to travel the world. I've always liked, the mechanics of government. I think that'll be a great career path. So I used snowboard money, and I would go to school fall semester and summer semester. But I would skip winter so that I could snowboard all season long.
Wow.
And it worked out really well because I got a salary to snowboard. I used it for tuition, and it kind of worked out for the next couple of years. And I was able to accomplish those dreams and get the travel in and have all those great experiences going to Europe or Alaska, we were in Utah, which was God's country for snowboarding. So a great experience. But when it was time to wind it down, going back to the challenges, what do you identify with next? And how do you put that chapter of your life kind of behind you and appreciate it? And there was a couple years there where I still was like, no, I'm the snowboarder.
Sure.
But when I was on the industry side, there was so much to learn, and it was really challenging to switch from being an athlete into working in the pro space. But when you're on the athlete side, you have to have a lot of determination and focus to do, I think, whatever you want to do at whatever level you're doing it, or you're just not going to make it very far. And I just kind of applied that work ethic, if you will, to figuring out what's behind marketing. Like when I was an athlete, I guess I was marketing my own individual brand. So what does it look like at Burton? And then I went on to work with ESPN's X Games. Like, well, what does it look like there? And there was so much to learn, and I got really busy learning and actually really excited learning. So there was so much I didn't know, and it kind of fed into this new opportunity. And then new sports, like when we talked about surfing briefly.
Sure.
So all of a sudden you're almost distracting yourself with new opportunities. But I realized I could either live in the past, or I could live right where I was then and kind of live where I wanted to move to in the future. And that was way more exciting.
Right.
So snowboarding became something I just really appreciated.
Wow.
And I kind of had that chapter. It took a little time to work through that. And there's a couple roller coasters in there where I was like, well, I used to do this. I'm like, well, there's no going back. So tough shit. What are you going to do now? And that was where professionally I started to have some good inroads. And then I went from some consulting opportunities to a really long stint at DC Shoes, which was right up the road in Vista at the time.
Wow.
And for 6.5 years, I worked at DC Shoes as their, I guess, director of marketing or whatever. And I ran their surf, snow, moto, BMX programs. And they had a new rally program because the founder, Ken Block, was an amazing mentor and person to have in my life. He started rally racing, so it became a new division for them. So those were the sports I helped manage, mostly the snow division because that was kind of my background.
Sure.
And you're just learning so much during those years. So that became the new focus. So
that resume.
Wow. Well,
So
then,
it's non-linear.
Right.
I can say it was not a straight path. Like
Right.
I definitely went like, oh, I'm going to be the action sports guy. I'm going
Yeah.
to go to the State Department. Nah, it didn't work out. I'm back in action
Sure.
sports guy.
well, and that's the thing. That's why we call it heart of the matter. But getting kind of to the heart of it, I mean, that's rare to be that mature at such a young age to be able to push yourself, because I've seen it. I've seen people that are high-level athletes that they go one way or the other. They rely so much on their athleticism, and when it's over, they go into depression. They don't know which way to go. Yeah. Other people, they apply what made them that high level and then apply it to improvement, evolution. That's amazing. What do you think it was? I mean, did you have a mentor?
I didn't have a mentor, but I had this kind of guideline of what I didn't like. So it wasn't so much a mentor. When I looked at kind of the older ski bums in the mountain towns, they were having the time of their lives, but they were in this like state of arrested development. Like they were the same partying, the same stuff, the same habits over and over again. And I was like, that just looks boring. Like I've already done it. Like I was kind of in the middle of doing it. So when I got to that stage where I knew the sponsorships, it was time to move on from snowboarding. Like I wasn't at the highest level. There was a whole new generation coming in. Like it was time to step back and then let them have their ride. And I was like, well, I can try and hold on to this, but I don't want to be those guys. Like I don't want to be a 40-year-old bartender.
Right.
And there's nothing wrong with that if that's what you're passionate about and that's what you're geared towards. But I wasn't passionate about that. So when I saw folks holding on to that lifestyle to be in that space, I was like, that's awesome for them. I want something else. And I didn't know exactly what it was. Wow. I just knew it wasn't that.
Sure.
So it was that opportunity kind of got in the way of sliding into that depression, because I've always wanted to kind of keep moving.
Right.
And I don't know what that is inside of me that gets curious or I don't know, just wants to keep moving forward. Sure. So yeah, it would have been easy to like hit a bottle and be the mountain guy. But when the opportunities professionally started coming up, I think the reason they came up is because like I was never the best pro snowboarder, but I was willing to work hard. And I think that maybe opened up a couple of doors. It wasn't, oh, Sean's an amazing snowboarder, therefore he'll be a good team manager. It was, oh, Sean was maybe dependable. He would show up in the morning and he would be there for those photo shoots, or he would be there for those opportunities, or he was always kind of a good communicator with his sponsors. And I think that maybe fed it. Right. And then that's what kind of gave me a good springboard into the industry side of things and then learning more from that. So that thirst for knowledge, I think, kept me going. And again, knowing in the middle of my career that I didn't want to be that 40-year-old mountain dude.
That makes sense.
Now, at 54, I actually want to get back into a mountain town more often.
Yeah, right.
But from a different lens.
Are you finding yourself now, because of what you've gone through, are you mentoring kind of the younger generation?
You know what's interesting? I stepped away from the snowboard world probably in 2012 or so, and I really fell back in love with snowboarding after like my years at DC. It took a while, because when you're in the industry side, you've got sales numbers to meet and you've got an industry to promote and protect, and you kind of can lose your love for the sport, the thing that got you fired up. Right. As a teenager, as a little kid. So when I left snowboarding, I really wanted a clean break. So after my years at DC Shoes finished, I actually walked away from the action sports space, and any kind of mentorship opportunities I didn't really acknowledge because I was good.
Sure.
I had spent my time with these young athletes, helping shape some of their careers, and these are kids that did amazingly well at X Games gold medals and some phenomenal runs. Like Torstein Horgen was like one of my favorite stories to tell. This kid just won everything he could possibly win. And I watched him go from a teenage athlete to a really mature, late 20-something-year-old in the sport who knew what to do.
Wow.
And I was like, that was my mentorship.
Oh, wow.
Like I was able to steer his career and work with him on his goals.
Right.
And I didn't really feel a need to do a lot more of that after I was sort of stepped out from snowboarding. And what's funny is that all the relationships built during that time helped me fall back in love with just strapping a board to my feet and going riding.
That's amazing.
And I've been like that ever since. So I will talk to friends in the industry I use our brand BUBS Naturals and support snowboarding and skiing and mountain biking. Like we're very active in those communities. And that allows me to keep a little bit of a pinky finger like in those cultures and in those sports that I love.
Yeah. Well, you know the lingo. I mean, you have such a rich history in it. So
yeah, it's a fun space to be, and they're they're cultures and sports that they're just in my DNA.
Yeah.
But no, I didn't really do the mentorship thing as much as I think I sprung out into what's next.
Right.
And that's kind of the way it's always been.
Sure.
Brandon, what's going on? This is going to be our biggest deal. We can't be down.
I don't know, man. I've been trying to reach tech support for hours now. They're not responding. They said they're probably not going to get back to us for the next couple of days.
Tennessee Tech told you this was going to happen. Let's call them right now. They do the tech support, cybersecurity. They can help us.
Let's do it. All right, team. Great job. Because of Tennessee Tech, we were able to present this and close it. Good job, team.
Well, I mean, you're exactly right, because even, we talked about it before. I played college basketball, found out it wasn't as good as I thought.
Yeah.
I fell out of love with it. And then when I played, just for fun, I fell in love with it again. And, even with tennis, right? I mean, you played high-level tennis.
It's a good point of when okay, I am a professional, but I'm not number one, number two, number three.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to remember the reason I'm pivoting is because I want to use these tools that I gathered as an athlete. Where can I use them elsewhere? And if it's not to be a mentor, if it's not to be a coach, okay, where can I use that elsewhere? Is it going to be to enrich myself, my family, my community? What are these tools that I'm gathering? What's the purpose of them? How can I share them with more people than just the snowboarding community or just the tennis community?
I mean, look at tennis now. Like, I'm guessing that you enjoy tennis now probably the way you enjoyed tennis as a teenager.
I would say it taught me to be a business person at a young age, to be an individual athlete. It's like, how do I organize my schedule? How do I organize my time? How do I get sponsorships? How do I make, community relationships? I don't play tennis anymore, but I am a business owner. So I see how you pivoted that and just gathered all of this information for your business now.
Yeah, I mean, they are transferable skills. And it's funny because like the whole sponsorship thing that's what makes the wheels go round. Like if you're going to earn a paycheck for sponsors, you have to earn that paycheck showing up at photo shoots, being involved in R&D, going to shops, whatever your tasks are, gain the publicity to promote the brand, to then have them help support you while you're going out to pursue your dream of, whether it's winning a tournament or whether it's, hiking a mountain and having doing a great line, whatever your thing is and your goal is, you have to be in touch with how that gets done. Or you can just be a total purist.
Sure,
But that wasn't, I wanted a little bit of that, I wanted the photo in the magazine. Like I had that extra, scratch to itch, if you will. And yeah, I mean, now I get to look back at it, and now I'm taking my wife and my children out to snowboard and get in the mountains, and it's
How old are the kids?
7 and 9. So I've got a 7-year-old daughter and a 9-year-old son, and they're both skiing.
Okay.
Which is really funny for me.
Right.
And I get them up on the mountain, and my wife and I we did like our entire season just with them every single day, and just got their runs in and just saw them progress and just have those, super
Was it natural for them?
moments. Supernatural, yeah.
Wow.
Oh.
And my wife's from Florida. Like she grew up playing tennis. She didn't grow up with this as her background. So she learned snowboarding when we started dating. So she's been on a long journey to just get really proficient and good at snowboarding, and now she can transfer that over to the kids. So it's been fun.
Very cool.
We'll have to do a snowboarding trip. I'm afraid my snowboarding skills aren't probably up to par, but
That's why we bring the kids. They
there
just
you
level
go.
the playing field.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, good fun.
Yeah, well, you had mentioned BUBS Naturals. Tell me about it, your company.
Yeah, so that person that I mentioned earlier, it was a very pivotal figure in my life, was this guy, Glenn Doherty. And he was my best buddy. Really, we were like brothers. And we were ski bumming together for years out in Utah. He ends up joining the Navy and takes off and serves 10 years at SEAL Team 3 down in Coronado. So he went through BUBS, he went through all of his SEAL training, served for 10 years, and he ended up buying a house and moving up to Encinitas, California, right where I was living. So all of a sudden, it's like we're getting the band back together.
Right.
And he taught me a lot in my early mid-30s about fitness. Now, up until that time, especially in the snowboarding side, there wasn't a lot of training. You would train a little bit, but like you didn't really have like a good roadmap.
Right.
Well, Navy SEALs have a roadmap. And he brought that into my life. Started with running and cycling. Surfing was obviously, a big part of it. Any kind of adrenaline sport was big in the SEAL community. And I had these guys as extended group of friends. So Glenn's buddies in the teams became my buddies. We'd all hang out and mountain bike on the weekends and go to the beach and surf. And it was just a cool kind of cross-pollination of groups. And he taught me a lot about fitness. And I'll never forget, in like 2007, he came home from a deployment. He had been in Iraq, and he introduced me to CrossFit. Now, CrossFit's now kind of a household name, but back then, it was really obscure.
Sure.
So, he pulls up some website on his BlackBerry, and he's like, we're gonna do this workout. And we were both members at the Encinitas YMCA.
Oh.
So like we went in there to like learn how to do all these different movements from this website called CrossFit.com.
Wow.
And we really pushed ourselves in that. And about, a couple months later, he realized that there was a gym in Encinitas called US CrossFit. And he's like, this gym's owned by a Navy SEAL. He's like, I'm a Navy SEAL. We got to go there.
Right.
And it just led me into this fitness journey. So we rolled into this gym in Encinitas called US CrossFit. It was owned by a SEAL commander named Mark Devine, who's become a dear friend of mine. And Glenn and I joined the gym. And for years, worked out there with Mark and this guy Danny Miller and all these like just fire breathers of the Encinitas community. And here I am, this marketing director at DC Shoes, hanging out with all the action sports guys. And at 6 o'clock in the morning, I'm showing up at the gym and just getting my butt kicked by all these fire breathers.
Right.
And it was incredibly humbling. But much like surfing is an incredibly humbling sport, I was all about it.
Right.
And it just created a gear in me and an energy that I tapped into that just was an amazing discovery. And the byproduct, things I learned from Glenn, was it made me better. Well, fast forward years and that just becomes a part of our lifestyle. And Glenn was contracting during that time with the Central Intelligence Agency. So he'd gotten out of being a SEAL active duty, and he deployed overseas in September of 2012 to Tripoli over in Libya. It was right after the fall of Gaddafi. So the history buffs out there will remember Libya going through a big government transition. And Glenn was one of the first operators to go over there and protect some CIA assets. Wow. And that's when the terrorist attacks of 9/11 in Benghazi, Libya happened. So if you ever saw the movie 13 Hours, or you remember the congressional hearings around Benghazi when Hillary Clinton got in a whole bunch of trouble, that was about 4 Americans that were killed over there. And one of them was my best friend, my roommate, my brother, Glenn. So Glenn died saving a lot of Americans that day. I was the executor of Glenn's estate. I was his listed next of kin on his government paperwork. And
that shows you how close you were. I mean,
yeah, we were brothers for all purposes. I mean, we were just as thick as thieves. Glenn introduced me to my wife, Heather. Like we were just all in this really tight-knit group. And I had been with him since we were, 12 years old.
Sure.
So he was an incredibly impactful person in my life. This guy just stood for self-improvement, and he was always helping others. And he would just extract the best of you. Like, Liesl, you guys would meet, and he'd be like, oh, let's go play tennis. And you'd have the most fun. And he would remember every single detail about your life. And Juliana, like, he would do the same with you. And he would check in with you months later. And he was that guy.
Right.
And we're all lucky to have someone like that that brings that kind of energy and authenticity into our space. And he was that guy. Plus, he happened to be a SEAL. And he knew a ton about nutrition and fitness. And so he really helped shape a lot of that athletic journey for me. And when he died, because he was such a big personality, his family, his friends, we all wanted to kind of keep his memory alive. We wanted him to have a seat at the table. And we started a foundation, the Glenn Doherty Memorial Foundation. They're up and running, a 501c3 today. And it's basically a scholarship fund to help transitioning special operators, assist in the gaps in the GI Bill to go from active duty to civilian life, and just fill in those educational voids. And that was really fun. And after a few years, it was up and running. Well, at this time, Heather and I had gotten married. We had a young son, so Sebastian had just been born, and my wife introduced me to collagen peptides. collagen protein. And she brought it home one day, and she's a little bit younger than I am, and she laughed and she said, well, you're not getting any younger, and I need to preserve you in your old age. So I want you to take this. And I was like, well, what is this? She's like, it's a protein. It's collagen. It's really good for your hair, skin, and nails, but it's really good for joint health and muscle recovery. And she's like, and your knees sound like crinkled up newspaper when you walk up a flight of stairs.
She sounds like my wife. Okay. So
she's like, you need to take this. And yes, dear. I said yes. And I just started taking it. So I would put it in my coffee every morning, put a scoop in there. And after a couple of weeks, I noticed my fingernails were growing like crazy. I'm like, I feel like I'm the Wolverine. What's going on here? Right. And a couple of weeks later, I needed a haircut. I was like, man, I just got a haircut. What's going on? Okay. And at about 2 months in, my knees stopped hurting. And my knees had been hurting for years.
Years from all the action sports.
Yeah, I just accepted it as part of life. Like, oh, you're getting older? No, this sucks. Well, like you're gonna be in pain. And I just had one of those transformative, like it was a very specific day. We were flying cross country. I remember getting up and packing all the things. And when you've got a small child, you pack up a lot of things. And we go to the airport and we get on the plane and we're sitting on the plane for 5 hours. And we get off the plane, I grab all the things and we're moving through Logan Airport in Boston. And I just look at my wife and I'm like, I feel great. And she's like, oh, that's nice, dear. I'm like, no, you don't understand. Like,
right.
Nothing hurts. Like normally getting off an airplane, I'd be rubbing my knees and everything hurts. And I'm like, I feel great.
That's amazing that you remember that specific moment.
Very specifically because it was around the 2-month mark. I'd been taking the product and everything felt great. So I just became a devoted proponent of collagen. I was like, this stuff's amazing. So the next month I felt even better. Well, a couple more months goes by and a guy I was doing some freelance work with, become my business partner, sees the jar of collagen on my counter. And he's like, oh, you take that stuff? And I start raving about how good I feel. I'm like, oh my God, I'm running faster. I'm back squatting again. Like all the athletic stuff that I've always enjoyed doing, I was just doing it better. And I was like, yeah, man, like I just feel so much better. I feel like I'm in my 30s again. And he's like, oh, well, it's a fast trending product on Amazon. This is like 2017. He's like, we should start a company. And I laughed. I'm like, I've got a kid crawling around on the floor. What do you think a company would look like? And we just had this little conversation, and we both said, well, if we ever started a company, we'd have to do something cool for charity. And little light bulb went off. I went, I know the charity. It's got to be Glenn's charity. And this is exactly the kind of product that Glenn would have taken when he were alive. Wow. And I said, Glenn's call sign in the Navy was Bub. So we'll call the company BUBS Naturals as a tribute to Glenn and his way of life. The products we make will stand for self-improvement, and we're going to give 10% of all profits to serve charitable causes and military charities in Glenn's name, because Glenn was always helping others. And it was a social experiment. Took the name out, talked to some friends, talked to his family, talked to his SEAL buddies, and I was like, guys, what do you think? And the collective feedback was the same. It was unanimous. Everyone said, oh, Glenn would kick your ass if you don't do this.
Right.
I was like, I guess I got to try.
Sure.
And
well, his legacy is moving on. I mean, it's still living. So.
That was it.
Yeah.
And so it's less, Bub's the North Star. Right. He is the inspiration of the decisions we make and the nutritional products that we offer. The lens that I have for that was one that he had, which is like, hey, let's do this in the most natural way possible. There's so much we can get from the earth and from the ingredients around us, and we can do it at an incredibly high level. And I was like, well, I'm not putting my best friend's name on the jar of the products we make without getting it tested to the absolute best levels. So we're NSF for Sport certified, which is just that highest level of independent accreditation you can get for label quality, integrity of ingredients. We have a partnership with Whole30 approved. It's a clean eating protocol, which I'm really fond of. And the whole line is moving to NSF content certified. Don't just take my word for it. Like, I know we've got the best collagen on the planet. The proof's in the jar and the proof's on the label because,
All right, we've done a great job of branding the group and Heart of the Matter. We've grown to close to 600 people. Now, how do we market this? How do we get out there? Do we do SEO? How do we get the news out there?
Coast News Group.
I've heard this story now twice because we had breakfast and coffee. I always get chills when you tell me that. I love the fact that you're doing that. My son's in the Naval Academy, so I have a special place for veterans. A lot of my best friends are team guys. So again, I appreciate kind of the history behind it, the fact that 10% goes, and I've been taking it. I love it. I've been texting you. I love it.
I mean, it makes a difference. And we're at the stage in our lives where it's use it or lose it. And I'm about using it. So I want to share that with the world. Like, hey, aging sucks, but it doesn't have to. Like, you can fight the aging process with good nutritional choices, good physical habits, good diet. And like, if you're getting to that stage in your life where you're feeling the aches and pains of life,
Right there.
do something about it.
Absolutely.
Like, what do you want to do? Roll over? Okay, you can do that. That's not my audience. But if I can tap into that audience and inspire them to make good choices, hey man, that's great. That's what it's all about. And I want to be, 70, 80 years old playing tennis and surfing and mountain biking and doing the things. And right now at 54, I feel better than I did at 44. So, that's it. Let's go.
Well, everyone in the community, they think I'm 71. I always tell them it's because of this, the collagen peptide. It keeps me young. So
There we go.
yeah.
That's incredible because your product, BUBS Naturals, was an accumulation of all of your experiences of being an athlete, of being so closely related to the Navy SEALs because of Glenn, because of CrossFit. Accumulating all of that into a supplement that is going to help all of those people that you've interacted throughout your entire career, your entire life. It's like, hey, how can we tie this all into one thing? Supplements like collagen, like apple cider vinegar, like protein, all of these things. It's like the community that you've created need this product.
It's funny. I thank you. I literally joke with my wife. I'm like, I'm selfishly making all the things that we have in our cabinet.
Right.
These are the things that I want to take to keep my performance levels high, to keep anything we're not getting naturally from our diet on the table. Like, I want to keep ingesting good quality protein sources. Collagen is absolutely essential. We just launched a vitamin C to pair with the collagen because the synthesis between the two is so important. And a lot of folks don't get enough vitamin C in their diet.
True.
Like, what we're getting naturally in our soils is different than what we were getting 50, 60, 70 years ago.
Right.
And so, I hate to say it, but supplementation is needed. And I always tell folks, if you can get collagen in your diet naturally, fantastic. You don't need to supplement with it. But I hope you're ready to eat, 3 or 4 pounds of ground beef a day,
Right.
Liters of bone broth. And if you're eating tip to tail, fantastic. Like, you've got a head start. Are you eating all that bone marrow? Are you getting that natural collagen source? And most folks look at you and go, yeah, not eating those chicken beaks. No, not getting a lot of that in the diet.
Yeah.
So because of how we eat, this is a great alternative to that. And, add the two things together and you're plussing it up. And good quality proteins. Just make sure those are in your diet. I feel better than I did at 44. So, that's it. Let's go.
Well, everyone in the community, they think I'm 71. I always tell them it's because of this, the collagen peptide. It keeps me young. So
There we go.
yeah.
That's incredible because your product, BUBS Naturals, was an accumulation of all of your experiences of being an athlete, of being so closely related to the Navy SEALs because of Glenn, because of CrossFit. Accumulating all of that into a supplement that is going to help all of those people that you've interacted throughout your entire career, your entire life. It's like, hey, how can we tie this all into one thing? Supplements like collagen, like apple cider vinegar, like protein, all of these things. It's like the community that you've created need this product.
It's funny. I thank you. I literally joke with my wife. I'm like, I'm selfishly making all the things that we have in our cabinet.
Right.
These are the things that I want to take to keep my performance levels high, to keep anything we're not getting naturally from our diet on the table. Like, I want to keep ingesting good quality protein sources. Collagen is absolutely essential. We just launched a vitamin C to pair with the collagen because the synthesis between the two is so important. And a lot of folks don't get enough vitamin C in their diet.
True.
Like, what we're getting naturally in our soils is different than what we were getting 50, 60, 70 years ago.
Right.
And so, I hate to say it, but supplementation is needed. And I always tell folks, if you can get collagen in your diet naturally, fantastic. You don't need to supplement with it. But I hope you're ready to eat, 3 or 4 pounds of ground beef a day,
Right.
liters of bone broth. And if you're eating tip to tail, fantastic. Like, you've got a head start. Are you eating all that bone marrow? Are you getting that natural collagen source? And most folks look at you and go, yeah, not eating those chicken beaks. No, not getting a lot of that in the diet.
Yeah.
So because of how we eat, this is a great alternative to that. And add the two things together, and you're plussing it up. And good quality proteins. Just make sure those are in your diet.
High quality products. Seeing that it's Whole30 approved tells me I know this is a high quality product. And if you're going to be feeding it to your kids and recommending it to your family, it's like, how do I know that this is a high quality product? Because I created it. You formulated something that you needed and saw a lack of at the grocery store. You can't just grab any product off the shelf anymore. You have to know, okay, is this getting manufactured in a way that is not only approved by the FDA, but is this something I'd actually want to share with my family members?
Yeah, that's probably the best litmus test that you could have, because there's a lot of good products out there. And good's good, but we have the opportunity for great. I want to live in great. I want to put that in my body. I want the best. Like, there's a reason we gravitate towards, hey, an organic product, or even certifications that you can question a little bit are better than no certifications at all. And brands that have the best integrity, I believe, are willing to go that extra mile. So what does NSF Sport mean? It means you're just taking the guesswork out of those questions and concerns that a consumer might have. Well, then there's what's actually in the jar from a usability standpoint. How's the flavor? How's the solubility? Is it adaptable to your daily routine? Like, simple as that. Like, I'm a coffee drinker. This is a heat-tolerant protein. I throw a scoop of it in my coffee every single morning, and I'm getting all those amino acids that I need for all my connective tissue support, and it doesn't taste like anything, and it dissolves right away.
Yeah.
Great, it's easy to use. You'll use it again.
Right.
If it tastes like cowhide, because that's what collagen is, you're probably not going to come back for it. Well, there's a lot of good collagens out there, and you can smell the cow, and you can taste the cow. And I'm sorry, but it's like castor oil. It might be really good for you, but you're probably not coming back for more of it.
Right, no, absolutely. Well, then the thing too is, you said it's integrity. These are products that you would take. You would feed your family, and that's a lot of times business owners, they get there and they start to look at, what's profitable, and then their integrity kind of, and to each his own. But I love the fact that you actually believe in this. You use it. I use it. My wife is very, she's into kind of the naturopathic medicine. She's cleared out our counters for the last 6 years, so no saturated fat, and she always looks at it. For me, I used to just buy stuff. I was like, it says it's organic. It says it's healthy for you, so I would take it.
It's a good starting point.
Right.
But if you peel back the onion and go a little bit deeper, like, you're going to learn more about those products. Our next product launch, we're super excited about. We're launching a creatine monohydrate. And there's a lot of creatines in the world. And I've come to learn a lot about the manufacturing, because I said, okay, well, if we're going into creatine, what's the best one? Because there's different forms of creatine. I said, okay, well, the most studied one is creatine monohydrate. Okay, so I eliminate all the other creatines. If the most studied, the most validated, the most trusted source is creatine monohydrate, that's where I want to be. Well, what's the best of the creatine monohydrates? Well, it turns out there's about 10 manufacturers globally of creatine monohydrate. I didn't know that. 9 of them are in China. 1 of them is in Germany. And I'm like, no kidding. I said, well, let's talk about the Chinese sourcing. Well, there's a little bit of murkiness on supply chain traceability that comes out of China. And it's not the worst, but it might not be the best. And there's just a gap in guesswork. The German product is laid bare on the table. It's a product called Creapure. I'm like, that is absolutely the premium, the best of the best in terms of this is deliverability, the third-party testing, just the product integrity. Well, this is a no-brainer. We will use the German Creapure and launch that product, and we're going right to market with an NSF for Sports certified best-in-class product. Nothing against all the other ones, but it's that gap of good to great.
Right.
And when you're thinking, I want a creatine monohydrate, it's not a generic product. It's a product that deserves a little bit of integrity analysis and looking deeper at it and going, what's the best one? I mean, if I'm going to pay for it, you might as well get the best in class.
Right.
So that's been our approach this whole time, is if we're going to lean into it. We're launching an electrolyte line called Hydrate or Die.
wait.
That one comes out in just a few short weeks, just in time for summer. And it was the same process. I said, well, what are the best standards in electrolytes? Well, a standard called ORS, Oral Rehydration Solution, is one of those standards. I said, well, what is that? What's a standard for rapid rehydration? It's a specific ratio of sodium to potassium and sugar, which helps activate those electrolytes and get them in the bloodstream fast for rapid rehydration. I'm like, well, that's important, because if you're dehydrated, you need to get rehydrated fast. Well, we can honor that ratio. And then you look at the ingredients and what are the other really important ones? So you need magnesium in there, and chloride's bound to the right sodiums. This is all kind of the dirty science stuff.
Right.
Like, well, let's just start taking table salt and water. Let's take Himalayan salt and water, sea salt and water, and like see how it feels. Add a little bit of sugar. You start tinkering with it. And what we found is that we could deliver a really great kind of sports performance formula for everyday use. I'm like, well, that's great. Like, it can be universal, and we can have a lot of fun with it, because if you're hydrated, you're just going to be more active and out there doing life. And so we said, well, let's NSF for Sports certify it. And from an integrity of ingredient standpoint, can we source every single ingredient from the United States? And so we started this about 1.5 years ago. And I was like, I wonder if you can do that. Well, sea salts come out of the Pacific Northwest, and you can get some from New England. That's chloride, that's sodium right there. There's natural mineral sources in there. You can get potassium and you can get magnesium out of mineral salts out of the state of Utah. Perfect. And you can get organic cane sugar and sugars from Hawaii, Louisiana. Like, it's all domestically sourced. I'm like, well, that's my ingredient list right there.
Wow.
We can do it ORS, NSF for Sport, and we're going to proudly have the flag made in the USA, which is something from an integrity standpoint. Like, I know exactly where my ingredients are coming from. I love that. I want to be able to share that. So.
Absolutely. Well, it sounds fun too. I mean, you're going through this whole process. And
Yeah.
Is your lab here, or how are you experimenting with different?
So we work with a bunch of third-party consultants. This guy, Dr. Todd Bourne, Dr. Nick Barringer, and they come in with a great lens of sport performance, and then we co-pack and do a lot of formulation work out of Utah.
Oh.
So I come up with the mad ideas. I'm not a scientist. I'm a washer, snowboarder.
Can you do this? Is basically what
Can
you
you
say.
do this? I want to challenge them to do this. I say, hey, what's a great amount of electrolytes, like overall electrolytes? Okay, well, let's say it's 2,000 milligrams. Most athletes, most folks traveling cross country, most folks that might have too many drinks the night before. Just saying.
You're right.
You get into a state of dehydration pretty easily.
Sure.
What's the right amount of electrolytes? What are the right electrolytes you should have? Because you see so much different information online. You see electrolytes that are like 4 times the potassium to sodium. Well, what's the point in doing that? It's very use case specific. Well, I said, well, I want the one that is going to offer rapid rehydration and the best for sports performance. Take that out to the team. They come back with the right ratio that we're all thinking together. Validate that with the right amount of sugar to activate those electrolytes, and test it. So we spent about 2 years putting product in market, and getting great feedback from long distance endurance runners, from, quite frankly, folks that would have a couple too many drinks.
Right.
And blend that with the science of what we know the best deliverability is, and have fun along the way. So we named it Hydrate or Die, and
Oh, nice.
get out there and have some. So.
I can't wait.
It's a fun process. And these are
Yeah.
all products, again, kind of under that North Star of self-improvement
Right.
and helping others along the way.
We'll definitely have to do a review of the Hydrate, because I'll be hydrated. I'm waiting for you to do a TED Talk, because, I mean, this is absolutely inspirational, everything you talked about.
Well, it's funny. When I think about like my career or this life journey, like, I always jokingly call it non-linear. Like, I didn't really plan this. Aside from being a teenager who fell in love with snowboarding, these other like big left-hand turns in the road, like, they weren't planned. Like, I would set a plan and then I guess the biggest plan was to be open to change.
Sure.
And there's been nothing but change along the way. And at different times, I think everyone is inspired by something, or they get that fire inside of them. And I think professionally, personally, it can happen a few times in your life. And snowboarding was one of those chapters for me. And BUBS is 100% that chapter for me. And both things were kind of selfish, to be fair. human performance is selfish for me. You know, having a functional creamer that is delicious in my coffee, but also gives me a little mental focus and energy, like, yeah, that's selfish, but it's scalable and it's shareable. Snowboarding was the same thing, like having that stoke or that energy around the sport and being able to share it is good stuff. And I think, you know, you can take that inspiration with you personally.
Hey, can you believe we have 336 members now of the group?
I know. Crazy
growing
how
so much.
fast that was actually in a
Let's
year.
celebrate.
Okay, you're always wanting, look at that. Look how quick he is to celebrate.
Well, we have to celebrate.
What are you looking for though?
So that corkscrew.
Tune. Los Cuernos. No corkscrew needed. What do you want? You want a rosé? Red. Another red. But you want Chardonnay, I'm sure.
Hey, this is
Pop that open.
Oh, absolutely. Well, I know you brought it up several times. You use the word challenge. You love challenges. I mean, you're constantly, what's the next challenge?
Oof. Well, this morning I got a text message from a buddy of mine who wants to do the rim to rim to rim in October. And that is basically taking the Grand Canyon and you cross the Grand Canyon and then you cross it again back.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
So I don't know a lot about it,
Ooh,
but I did say hell yes.
Yeah, there you go.
Have not talked to my
Why
wife
not?
about this.
Okay.
But she's an avid marathoner, so I've got a feeling she'll raise her hand and say, well, who's going to watch the kids? I'm doing it with you.
Well, there is something about that. Challenging yourself and being able to push yourself. Everyone knows that if they ask me to do something, typically I'll say, sure. Well, I mean, I've never tried it. I finally took up pickleball. Now I get it, but I've avoided it because I'm like,
All right, well, hold on a second.
I know.
Former
from the
tennis player here.
Well, guess who showed up on Sunday for some pickleball? So-
Gosh, I have succumbed to the pickleball trend. But one way that I actually find myself wanting to participate in CrossFit and pickleball and gymnastics, all these things, is from collagen creamer. And I feel like this product is one of those first things that introduce people to your brand because they say, I like coffee, I need creamer, and I heard that MCT oil is good for me.
Yeah.
What should I do? How can I implement that into my diet without eating sticks of butter? Oh, this is creamer, I'm gonna use it.
Literally dehydrated butter and coconut oil. Like when you
Wow.
think of, like it's such a funny gateway because you're right. In sports like CrossFit where you've got ketogenic diet, you've got paleo diet, you've got folks that are paying attention to their macros and paying attention to nutrition at a little bit more microscopic level. Like they're really paying attention to what's going into their bodies and they're really interested in just human performance. Coconut oil is long, like healthy fats are in the general conversation. Like there's a utility for healthy fats. Coconut oil broken into an MCT or a medium chain triglyceride is a phenomenal product to feed the brain. Like literally those healthy fats go through the blood-brain barrier and your brain is using that for food, but that's acuity, that's mental focus. Well, your body wants that for energy, not just sugar, which it's going to burn through carbs and blow out and then you crash.
Sure.
These healthy fats keep you going for hours. So one scoop is about 5 grams of oil. It's not that much in the body, but it's enough to feel it. And for those that have a high tolerance, they can do a second scoop. But I use it in place of dairy. So instead of putting half and half of milk in a coffee, I just put a scoop of that in there. I get a little bit of that buttery taste and all the benefits of those healthy fats.
Wow.
So,
Smart. I
great
like
way
that.
to start your day.
That
Definitely.
is.
Same with this, the apple cider vinegar. I tell parents when their kids are getting sick, I say, you need apple cider vinegar for your kid. And they're like, oh, I don't like the way it tastes. Well, you have apple cider vinegar gummies.
It is
Problem
a total hack. Like I would always suggest drinking some Bragg's as your first go-to, but it takes a very special person to be willing to go, I'm gonna take a shot of Bragg's. And the gummies are cheap, but if you do a gummy well, you are getting those benefits. Those ACV benefits are in there, so enjoy the gummy.
Right.
And look at, you gotta make it taste good or people aren't going to want to use it. Again, it's the castor oil example.
It's
so.
true. So many people tell me, I can't swallow all these supplements. I can't swallow all these vitamins. Well, this is powder. This is gummy. It tastes good.
Yeah, they actually taste good. They're easy to use in the diet. And like when you think of a cup of coffee, like if you're gonna start your day, coffee or tea, and you can say, oh, I'm gonna put a little cream in there. Just swap it out. Drop that in there, drop the collagen in there, and you've got your protein source and your healthy fats all in one, and you're off with your day. Like, what a great way to energize and fortify your day.
Yeah, it's great. I've been putting the MCT oil and the collagen peptide just in water, mixing it first thing in the morning, and it's great.
Well, these are like nutrition. These are nutrition hacks that you can just get your day started with. And it's like, if you want to stack healthy habits, the things that you do first thing in the morning. I like a warm glass of lemon water just to start my day. Does it really do anything? I can argue, different nutritionists will raise their hands and say yes, no, pH balance, whatever. But a little bit of electrolytes, a little sprig of salt, a little Himalayan salt or sea salt in the morning in my lemon water, and then move into your next habits. And if you stack your habits, whatever yours are, you might be, I make my bed, I meditate, I do the following activities. I do my training first thing in the morning before I open email, before I get to work. You're stacking wins.
Right.
And if your nutrition is part of that, and you just know, hey, no matter what happens today, like I've had 20 grams of collagen, I've had a healthy fat, like I'm ready to energize my body so that whatever curveballs are out there, parenting, professionally, you name it, you're just in a little bit better shape to deal with whatever gets thrown at you.
Right.
Like pickleball.
Sure, yeah.
Your products are making the barrier of entry easier for people because, okay, a dad who's 68 years old, he may be brand new to this information. CrossFitters, I feel like they were one of the first people to start introducing supplementation, nutrition, past the athletic realm of your life. It's like, okay, if I want my mom to be taking MCT, she needs BUBS Naturals because she's not getting it from her diet and she's not a CrossFit athlete. So here, I can just give her this easy entry and then she can buy it on her own on Amazon or at the grocery store now.
Yeah, that's probably the best way to talk about it is like, there are folks that are going to listen to this and say like, I didn't know what collagen was. Like, what is this? So I'm going to break that down real quick because I think it's really important for folks that just aren't aware of what this is. Collagen is the most abundant protein in the human body. You've got more collagen protein in your body than any other protein. In your 20s, your body stops producing it naturally. So you lose 1 to 2% of it a year every year. So think at 25, maybe you're at 100%. At 35, you're at maybe 80%, maybe 90%. At 45, worse. 55, worse. The 67-year-old dad, like you're at half your collagen stores. Like you're just losing 1 to 2% a year. Well, you're not getting it in your diet, but by endogenously taking it, by taking it externally, you're triggering your body's internal production, endogenous production of it. So take it from the outside and your body kicks that production back into gear. So you're basically staving off those effects of losing collagen. Well, why is collagen important? It's the glue holding our bodies together. So it's a connective tissue protein. So literally gluing your body together. Hair, skin, nails, your muscles, your joints, gut health, bone density, it's all connected by collagen. It's literally holding us together. So if you don't use it, you're going to lose it. Like that's just the aging process. So you can fight back and you can do it with an unflavored powder that's easy to use and you can throw it in whatever recipe and you're going to feel better physically.
Right.
Sign me up.
Well, yeah, I do jiu-jitsu every day and I need this. This helps. Definitely helps. It's preventative too, and for the young guys like our videographers and editors, it's never too early to start.
No, literally, I always joke, folks. I'm like, hey, teenagers don't need to apply unless they're in injury. Like if you're spraining, breaking ankles, like if you're under a stress, absolutely gets recommended by doctors, nutritionists. If you're just in the aging process, and by the time you hit your 30s, get on it. Because I wish I discovered collagen when I was in my late 20s and my early 30s. It didn't really exist then, but it does now. So, get on it.
I love it. Where's the best place to get BUBS? I mean, is it sold in local stores, online?
So if you're in San Diego, Seaside Market's our best spot. We work with a couple other local groceries, but for the most part, we are direct-to-consumer brands. So go to our website, bubsnaturals.com. You can find us on Amazon. We're Amazon's choice and the Amazon Prime and all the little Amazon-y things, which is great. But our website is probably your best source of information. You can learn more about the brand. You can learn more about those benefits and why it works well for you. And then all of our social handles are easy, just at BUBS Naturals.
Perfect. And you've done a handful of other podcasts. Can we find those on your handle as well? Because, like I said, just listening to you, you should be on TED Talk.
Yeah, I mean, gosh, I did. I've had a couple of shows that were really fun. I got to do the Genius Life with Max Legavere, who's like a big nutrition expert.
Right.
We did that about a year ago. I had a chance to sit down with Mike Ritland. He's got a really big podcast called The Mic Drop, and he's a former Navy SEAL who worked with Glenn. So we really did like a huge deep dive on our relationship with Glenn and how inspirational he was in our lives. That one was pretty fun. I just got to do one with the guys over at the Meat Mafia out of Austin, Texas, and a couple other shows along the way. And every conversation's educational, and you learn something new, and they're amazing. So thank you guys for having me on here, because this is great.
Yeah, I always say it every episode, the new guest, I'm like, this is my favorite episode. Again, it's inspiring, motivating. We've got more collagen peptides that I can use. So
there we go.
Yeah, I'm excited for your brand, and thank you for creating a product that we can trust and that we can recommend to people and know this is going to be the highest quality sourcing.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, if it's worth doing, it's worth doing well. And that's how I think it's fun to approach life with most anything. Like, hey, let's go do this. Let's go do it well. And a lot of challenges in that, and a lot of opportunity, and a lot of satisfaction when you can open a jar of a product that you know is going to work well. And again, selfishly, I get to use it every day, so it works great for me.
Exactly. Well, it's good. It's been fun watching you. It's going to be fun watching what the next challenge that you overcome. I mean, it seems like you just constantly challenge yourself. So appreciate you being here on the Heart of the Matter podcast. And
thank you. Thanks for having me. This has been fantastic.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Again, like and subscribe on YouTube and Spotify, Heart of the Matter podcast. Thanks again. If you're interested in sponsoring, contact us or be a guest on our podcast.
I feel like that was a direct shot at me.
There you go.
Let's talk.
We'll talk. Thanks again.